Hello, beautiful. Welcome to day 5 of the Emergency Medical Folder Challenge. And today we are talking about how to keep your emergency medical folder safe. So how do you keep all of this information super safe and still accessible? So that is what we're talking about today. I hope that you've been enjoying the challenge so far. As you hop on, let me know who you are. And if you've been joining me for the challenge, have you been enjoying it? I would love to hear that in the comments as you join me. So just as a reminder, the Emergency Medical Folder Challenge is the free challenge going on January 10th through 16th, 2022. That's this week only. So Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, is the last day of the Emergency Medical Folder Challenge. So you've not had a chance to watch any of the old videos, the replays, if you've not downloaded the worksheets, anything that you've not done, make sure to do it before the end of the day on Sunday, all right? Everything that you might be missing is on the challenge schedule page, which is in the description of this video. The link is there, as well as on your screen right now, but the link in the description of the video is one that you can actually click on. So you don't have to, type this whole thing out. But if you need it, it's on the screen as well. That has links to everything that I talk about. It has the replays of past lives, everything that you might need, all right? And also remember, last night we had our first important papers workshop, and Saturday we have the last two. So that's the free workshop where we're talking about all the rest of your important papers, because the emergency medical folder covers all of the medical papers and quick evacuation papers, but there are so many important papers and pieces of information in our life. This is how to organize the rest of them into a quick grab binder that's easy to pick up at your fingertips, get exactly what you need, grab and go with you if there's an emergency as well. So the free important papers workshop will tell you how to set up your own, or you can grab the Spark Life Binder through the end of the day Sunday as well, which is that shortcut. And it's all basically set up for you. So there we go. That's a summary of what's coming up and what's going on right now. Last night's important papers workshop was awesome. We had so much fun. I absolutely loved what everybody had to say and how much, just the excitement and the fun that we had. So I hope that you enjoyed it too. Really quickly, I asked you to tell me if you're enjoying the challenge so far and who you are. I see Cheryl's here and she says that she's absolutely enjoying the challenge. Yay. Somebody is enjoying the challenge from Washington. Welcome, welcome. Oh, Karen's been trying to do this challenge with COVID hitting her. I'm so tired, but I'm here. Oh, you deserve an extra special award. COVID is no joke. I hope you feel better very, very soon. Teresa says that she's been loving it. Hey, Joanne, it's good to see you, and RJ. Lynn is here from the South. Welcome, welcome. And Eloise is here. And she says that she's been enjoying these webinars and learning a lot, finally getting things done. That's what I love, right? That's what I always focus on. One small step at a time, right? And keep that motivation going. Lizette says, love this challenge. And Rita says, thank you for helping us get more organized. You're so welcome. Absolutely. So today, like I mentioned, we are talking about keeping it safe, right? So we want to make sure that this is both safe and accessible, so the right people can get their hands on it, but the wrong information does not get out where it should not go, right? So first off, I wanted to talk about where to store your folder, because like I mentioned just now, we want to make sure that not only can you grab this and go if you need to really quickly, but also if there's ever a reason where a first responder has to come in and assist you and you can't verbalize or can't even tell them that there is a folder, where do we store this so that they can also find it and have access to it? Now, when we're talking about keeping this safe, we are talking about I think it was Wednesday. I think on Wednesday or Tuesday, we talked about what to include and what not to include in your emergency medical folder. So if you've not seen that video, then hop over there and I go much more in depth into what to keep in here. But as a recap really quickly, don't include things like your date of birth, your social security number, copy of your driver's license or credit cards. Basically, this should only be the absolutely necessary medical information and emergency evacuation information. And if it's super, super sensitive information, I recommend list in the notes section or somewhere in your binder a person who would have that information. So for example, in the binder, you can write in the notes section. Let me see if I have right here under other important information is where I typed in additional emergency contact is the best friend, Jane Smith, cell phone 407-222-3333. Obviously just a fake number for filling it in, but this person would have a date of birth, social security number, and other personal information. So this way, first responders would know if they need to get your date of birth, social security number, any of that personal information, call Jane Smith. But it's not in the folder. So this way, if somebody were to break into your home or happen to be in your home doing some service and look through your binder or your folder, they will not have that information easily accessible. So the first step of keeping it safe, I had it listed as number 2. That's actually number 1. Sorry, this is backwards. But the first step for keeping it safe is making sure that that super important information is not in this folder so that you are able to leave it out. So first responders do have access, ambulance workers, EMTs, all of that. So they do have access to this easily. And you can just leave it out on the counter. We'll talk about where to store it in a minute. But yes, listing somebody as a contact who can tell them that information is very helpful, although not required. They will still at least be able to give you medical care without knowing your date of birth, your social security number, all of that information, because they have what prescriptions you're on and all of that already in here. So that's the important stuff to make sure that they have access to quickly. Allergies, prescription information, medical conditions, anything like that. That's what we want to make sure is in this folder. And those worksheets should help you make sure that you aren't missing some of those key items. So remember with the worksheets, the free worksheets that you got with this challenge, they're all fillable. So you can either just print them out and handwrite in them, or you can type right into the PDF. We talked about, actually Wednesday, I think it was, that we talked about how to download the PDF, type into it, save it, make sure that it's saved on your computer. Well, if you follow those steps, then you can type into it and save it. So there we go. All right. Now we're going to talk about where to store it in just a second. Wanted to say hi. Joanne says, this week was perfect timing for me to attend the live sessions. Oh, Joanne, not you too. I have COVID this week, but it's mild. I'm almost finished with the folder. So you and Karen, my goodness, I hope you both start to feel better because, that's just scary. But I'm glad that you could join me. Hey, Wendy, she says, enjoying the challenge. Register for Saturday. Yay, you're coming to the Important Papers workshop. We have so much fun during that workshop. It's awesome. Gay's here. She says, this is the second time through the challenge. That's wonderful. And her folder is completed. And hey, Lori from Ohio, always good to see you. And Bonnie's here. She says, maybe it's a dumb question, but if I'm hurt and or semi-conscious, but unable to move or walk and yet able to call 911, who lets the first responders into my house so they can find this folder? That's not a dumb question at all. Okay, so there will be, of course, times where if you are injured so much that you can't unlock the door, but you can still call 911, that, the first responders will do what they have to do. They will probably, get assistance to have the door knocked down or whatever they need to do to get into you. Generally, though, the goal would be if you can at least have the door unlocked, or if there's an entry that's unlocked, or if we're assuming that they can get access to you in the home. Otherwise, it's a whole other ball of wax and you've got bigger problems than them not getting the folder because we want them to get to you, right? So if you are hurt, but you can still manage to get first responders there, or if somebody else notices that you're hurt, or, there's a wellness check, then that's when you might not be conscious by the time they get there, or you might not even remember to tell them about it. Maybe, if you're having some memory issues or dizziness or anything like that. So there are definitely times where we don't even remember to tell them, or where by the time they get there, you're not able to. Those are the times where it's useful for them to find it. Also, I shared a story the other day, and I'll give you a quick summary of it, of another example of how this was super helpful for Rosemary. And Rosemary, she actually emailed me the story. Rosemary was so cute. She said that she used the emergency medical folder, and it was because her husband was not feeling well in the shower. She called 911 and stayed with him, next to him in the shower. And when the first responders came, there were more than one of them. And she says, I believe that there were 5 of them. and 4 of them worked with her and her husband. And the 5th one actually went into the kitchen, looked at the refrigerator area, found her emergency medical folder. And by the time she had even had a chance to think to tell them, he had already gone through the folder, been figuring out all of the information that had to do with their husband and had the data that they needed. So this was super helpful because she did not even have to remember to tell him. He automatically went there and found the information, even though she was able to speak. So that's another way that this is super helpful because they can get it even faster that way. Another way that it's helpful, I had another woman, Sarah, who also her husband had a heart attack. And she grabbed the emergency medical folder and handed it to them as they were loading him into the ambulance. She had forgotten to tell them about a life-threatening allergy that her husband Ron had. But it was big front and center in this emergency medical folder. So even though she'd forgotten to tell them, and it was a medication they were going to give him, then just by handing them this folder, she did not have to remember anything. So she completely forgot an extremely important piece of information that could have cost him his life, but because she handed him the folder, then they had all the information, even though she didn't remember to tell them. So that's another example of how this is super, super helpful, right? So where do we store this, right? That's probably on a lot of your minds so that we can make sure that these first responders or loved ones, whoever, can grab this and find this if you need them to find this. One of the reasons I usually use a bright red folder is because it is a color that they automatically look for, right? They look for red or bright orange whenever it's one of these medical alert types of notifications. What I like to do with my emergency medical folder, and do whatever works for you, this is just a suggestion, but with my emergency medical folder, what I like to do is I like to keep it on the counter of my home in a place that's easy to see. So for example, we have a toaster. I can put it right next to the toaster. Next to my fridge won't really work out where it's at, but I can put it next to the toaster. It's bright red, it's easy to see. And on my refrigerator, I have a sign, and again, really big. It's got a lot of red on it. It says emergency medical information is located next to the toaster. Now that's nice and easy for them to quickly scan the kitchen, figure out where the toaster is, see the red folder, and grab it. So emergency responders generally will look at the refrigerator, or more commonly even the freezer, either the front or the side of the refrigerator or front of the freezer, because I guess back in the day, they used to actually put medical information inside the freezer. Some people still do. But having that sign on the front of the freezer saying emergency medical information can be found at, and making it nice and noticeable, you can tell them where an easy to access place is, preferably near where they're standing, whether it's on the side of the fridge, next to the microwave, wherever that is, but tell them where they can find this folder, and they will probably go and automatically look at your refrigerator in the freezer area first. So that's what you want to do. Put a little sign or a big sign right there. And you can even, some people even clip the entire folder either to the front or the side of their refrigerator, which that is good too. Or I had one person who had one of those sticky pockets that you slide things into, and she stuck it to the fridge, slid the folder right in there. That's a great solution as well. Just make it so it's noticeable. If somebody were to look at the freezer, they could find that where that folder is, and try to keep that folder nearby the freezer. So you don't want them to try to figure out where the back bedroom is, because that's just going to slow things down, right? So that's where to store your folder. The nice thing is that's also an easy place for you and your loved ones to be able to grab it and go if you need to. Now, some people like to store either their folder in the car if you're not afraid of having emergency responders come and need access, then in the car might work. Or I know some people who do a duplicate copy in the car. That way, if there's a car accident, then all of your information is there. In the glove box is a really good place to either put your folder or put a noticeable note as to where to find your folder in your car. So that's a good place, because first responders, in your purse is also a good place. You know, in the wallet, they're going to open it up to try to find the ID. So list where it's at in your purse, list where it's at in the glove box. Those are two of the places that they look the most often for identifiable information for you. All right, hopefully that helps answer the question of where in the world you would store your emergency medical folder, right? Let's see. Karen and Joanne are supporting each other through COVID. I love it. Cheryl says that she's registered for the Important Papers workshop on Saturday. That's awesome. I can't wait to have you there and have you join me. All right. So someone says that they have a weekend project. They've not started their folder yet. Now, if you're on the Facebook group and your name and picture is not showing up, in the video description, there's just a little link you have to give access for it to show your link and name. So you can always click the link and give, it's called StreamYard. That's what I use to do these videos, but give it access to show if that bothers you. If not, that's absolutely okay. Someone says, I attended the workshop yesterday and you need to attend it. So much important information. Yay. Oh, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I try so hard to pack that with value because I don't like to waste anybody's time, you know? That's wonderful. Joanne's almost out of quarantine. Nancy says, finally here. I did not get an email notice and had to find it in an earlier email. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hopefully there will be a recording. There absolutely is. We always have the replay on that challenge schedule page. So that challenge schedule page is a great thing to just bookmark for the week. All right, Jana says, when my mom was still living alone but had life alert, oh, that's also a good thing, I bought a real estate key lockbox and put it on the front doorknob and told the local police EMT department the code for the lockbox. You're so smart, Jana. That's a great tip. Because mom didn't want to call because she was afraid the police would break the door down. It was a perfect fix for us. Hope it helps others. Absolutely. That's a brilliant, brilliant idea. I love, love, love that. Cheryl says, I have a grandson with seizures. I put it in a red vinyl folder and put it in a seat pocket where the child sits. That's a really good idea. I love that too. Karen, sending virtual hugs. All right. So another question that I've gotten this week that I wanted to touch on really quickly, and I shared a video that goes much more in depth on this, but I've had the question, okay, there's the Paper Path course and there's the Spark Life Binder, which remember the emergency medical folder is one small part, one of 10 parts in the Spark Life Binder. So I've had the question, what is the difference between the Paper Path and the Spark Life Binder? So I wanted to go over that super fast right now. So the Spark Life Binder, that is what's available this week. So this week only until Sunday, you can buy the Spark Life Binder. And after that, it's gone. If you attend the Important Papers workshop, then you have a couple of extra days, but only if you're registered for the workshop and through those emails. But this link that I'm giving you expires Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. So on January 16th. But this is the Spark Life Binder. So the Spark Life Binder is one place for all of the important information in your life. So unlike a lot of the systems that you see out there that go really in depth into maybe just one area, like I won't mention names, but there are a lot of programs out there for just financial. You know, there are big financial binder or estate planning or medical binders. And they go really in depth into those one of those areas, but they don't really cover the rest of your life. Or there are a number of them out there that say that they cover your whole life, but you know, they're maybe 20 pages long and they don't really go in depth in anything. Well, the Spark Life Binder was created so that it has all of the different sections in depth. So the Spark Life Binder, you can get digital or print version. We just launched the print version this week for the first time. So if you grabbed your print version, just a reminder, it might take an extra week or so to mail out to you just because this is our first time doing it. And I'm doing like a bunch of quality checks and making sure that everything goes out correctly. So this one time it's going to take like an extra week or so to ship out, but it will be mailed to you and arrive at your home already assembled. It'll look similar to this. The tabs will be a little bit different. I don't have the final proof with me. But there's also a digital version if you want instant access and the ability to type into that PDF and use the digital version, or you can get both. They work hand in hand. I'm not going to go too in depth, but it's professionally printed. If you get the printed digital, it's just like your emergency medical folder worksheets where you can type into them and print them out. So it has a section for all of your important papers. So let me go through, let me find the table of contents in this one. So these are all of the sections and they go in depth. The first section is all the basic information for each adult in the household. So ID numbers, I do the photocopy of the driver's licenses, passports, social security cards, all the contact info, all that basic information, one tab per person in your household. Dependents is the next one. So any kids, pets, if you have anybody that you care for and you're a caregiver, those would go there. It goes really in depth. Medical section, it's a very big section. You would do one per person in the household, and that's all the medical history, as well as healthcare providers. We've got end of life arrangements. So one for each adult in the household, and it's just preferences, and it makes it easier because you're just answering the questions. So it's a lot easier to answer the questions than have to think through all of the different possibilities. Finance and insurance, real estate and personal property, legal and official records, digital life. So all of those passwords, logins, all of that information that you or your loved ones would need to know if there was, if either you weren't around, or sometimes you just need to be able to get to it quickly. And then in section 9, there's resources and notes. So you can add checklists. There's already the how long to keep important documents guide in there for you. So this is one binder where all of that important information can go. So you can write it into the worksheets, and you can also include some of the copies of things. So if you have trusts, then you can include either some of the pages for the trust or the whole trust itself, whatever you prefer. But the reason it's in a 3-ring binder is that you can replace pages as you need to, but also so you can add papers if you wanted to put copies of things, like copies of your credit cards, front and back in the finance section, things like that. So the Spark Life Binder is for the important papers and data. Now, not all of the papers we get in our life, though. Oh, and it comes with an emergency medical folder as well. So you'll have that. It's easy to update all the time. But not all the papers we get are important, right? We get a lot of mail that we need to keep, but it's not necessarily something that we need to record in our Spark Life Binder. That's what the Paper Path course is for. So the Paper Path course is how to organize all the papers in your life, from incoming papers to important papers. We talk about the Spark Life Binder. They work hand in hand. So within the Paper Path course, we talk about how to build your own binder, or if you have the Spark Life Binder, how to walk through and get it filled out easily. How to sort papers, like if you have a bunch of papers in piles or boxes, the quick way to sort papers so that you can get it sorted and figure out what to keep, what to let go of. How to build your file systems, file cabinets, short-term files, long-term files, self-purging files, specific types of papers. So all those specialty things like tax paperwork, and you have like a little tax planner download and things like that. Memorabilia papers. It's all the papers and how to manage all of them. So this would be one step of the Paper Path course. The action file would also be one step of the Paper Path course if you've got your action file for the incoming papers. And then the Paper Path course, a lot of you are also members of the Pathfinder membership, which is where we do the accountability sessions, and that's called the group hikes. And we do we just do a lot of things. We've got the text messages and all sorts of stuff. So that is the difference between the Paper Path course and the Spark Life Binder. So they work together, but they are different. Just because I've had a bunch of questions about that before, and I wanted to make sure to answer that. All right, so Lori she says, Susanna, that's a great idea to post a note on the refrigerator or freezer so the folder won't fall off of the refrigerator or freezer. Yes, mine it would, because it's right near the door and everybody bumps into that fridge. So having a big note that's taped to the front of the freezer is really helpful. Bonnie says, why can I not get to the challenge page from my account page on your site? That seems counterproductive since I have an account login and a library page. It's because the challenge is separate. It's not a product. So if I set up a login for everybody attending the challenge, then it would cost me over $5,000 a month to have the online library. So that's why. It's simply your online library is for products that you purchased, but the challenge is something free that people can register for and access. So that's why. Sadly, with all the software, it just gets really crazy expensive the more people that you have that have access to it. Lori says, I appreciate that the updates to the Spark Life Binder are put in your library, so I don't have to repurchase it. Absolutely. If you have the digital version, then you always have the most up-to-date core Spark Life Binder in your online library. And that's one of the benefits of the digital. So it's just whatever you prefer, digital, print, both. It's all a preference. Peg says, when you order the printed Spark Life binder, do you need to ask for separate pages for each pet? That you don't. So when you order the Spark Life binder, you will find that I will ask you how many adults and how many dependents. I don't ask about the number of pets, and I don't ask about the number of properties you own because I automatically add those papers in. I wanted to keep the checkout process as least confusing as possible, and I don't want my professional print company to kill me because they have to actually assemble all of this and print out different files. So I included pages for 10 pets. If you ever need more, then you can just shoot me an email. But you can have up to 10 pets. There's 10 pet pages. And also I included pages for up to 5 different real estate properties. So those are already kind of baked into your print version of the Spark Life binder. You can also have up to 3 adults and 5 dependents listed within that Spark Life binder printed version. If you ever need more, then just, like I mentioned, shoot me an email and we'll have to do a special order for you. But in order to create all the checkout experience, I've not had people with more than 10 pets or 5 dependents so far. So that's what I stuck it with. So hopefully that answers your question. That's a very good question. And, because yeah, you probably noticed during checkout that I did not ask how many pets you have. And the nice thing is also, pets sadly come and go sometimes. So you'll have some of those extra pages in case you add a pet on in the future. All right. As I mentioned before, if you missed anything at all during this challenge, the replay links for the videos are on the challenge schedule page. We also do have tomorrow, we're not doing a live at 1 at this link. So it's not going to be this type of live. Instead, at 1 o'clock tomorrow, which is Saturday, we will be doing the important papers workshop. It'll be at 1 p.m. and at 6 p.m. All the times are in Eastern time. So whatever time it is right now, right now here at Eastern time, it's 1:30. So if you're Central, it's probably 12:30. But tomorrow's live at 1 p.m. is the important papers workshop. So if you're not registered and you would like to see that, then you already know the 1 o'clock time slot, right? Register for that important papers workshop and I will see you there tomorrow. And then Sunday will be our last live of the challenge and it's our last day of the challenge. So hopefully you can join me for Sunday as well. Obani says, pet info, that's good to know. You're so welcome. Absolutely. Lizette says, where are these new pages for the digital version we already own? So Lizette, when you log in, you go to SuzannaKaye.com and you click login in your library where it says, your Spark Life binder and the download, when it says download here, that download is the newest version. So when you click on that, it's automatically going to download that newest version for you. So it's already in your online library and ready for you anytime. And that's always where any new update, that download is going to be the newest version. In your online library, I do also have another section with some of the past versions if you ever need access to those. Joanne says, where do you find the replay of the Important Papers workshop? If you've registered for the Important Papers workshop, if you registered for the one last night and you missed it, or if you attended it, you should have gotten an email last night with the link to the replay. The only way to get the replay for the Important Papers workshop is to register for it, though. So if you did not register for it last night, then make sure to register for it on Saturday. And the replay will be available for 4 days after it's done. So Thursday night, last night, if you did that one, then it would be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. That replay will go away. Saturday, it would be Wednesday, I think. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at either 1 p.m. or at 6 p.m. That replay will go away. So you have 4 days afterwards to watch the replay. But if you're registered, it will be emailed to you. If you do not get the email, if you attended last night and did not get the email, shoot me a message right now at hello@SuzannaKaye.com and let me know. And I'll make sure to get that to you. And usually it goes out within an hour to hour and a half of the workshop ending. Yay, Lizette says, thank you. I finally downloaded it yesterday. Bought it last September. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, I'm so excited. If you need any help, then as you know, I am always here to support you. If you grab the Spark Life binder at any point, then you have my email address. Just shoot me an email if you have any questions, if you have any difficulties. I'm always here because I absolutely know that you can do it. So my email is hello@SuzannaKaye.com if you ever need it. Now, just a reminder, tomorrow, like I said, is the Important Papers workshop. So we won't be doing the regular live. It will be the workshop that you have to register for. And then Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern will be day 7. It's our last live of this challenge. And we are talking about wrapping it up and what your next steps are. So make sure also join me this Sunday, the 16th of January at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I have to keep thinking. And we're talking about wrapping up and next steps. And tomorrow, join me for the important papers workshop. So tell me in the comments, do you already own the Spark Life Binder or the Paper Path? I always like to know, how you're liking it and if you have it already and all that good stuff. I would love to hear if you're a Spark Life Binder or Paper Path person. So let's see. Peg says, I registered for Saturday. Perfect. But I got an email saying I missed the important paper. Should I register again for the Saturday session? Yeah, go ahead and register again. It sounds like maybe it went through as a Thursday. Somehow maybe you got registered for Thursday. But yeah, go ahead and register for Saturday again. It can't hurt to register more than once because it'll still just be that one spot my system will notice. You're so welcome, Joanne. She says, thank you. Catherine says, you're offering the same paper video each time, right? I'm assuming you mean with the important papers workshop. So if you have attended the important papers workshop in the past, then yes, it's not really significantly different from last time. So you don't need to watch it again. And if you already own the Spark Life Binder, then the replay is always in your online library too. So if you ever wanted to watch the replay of the webinar, the important papers workshop, and you own the Spark Life Binder, if you want to watch the replay just to get motivated again and remember how it all works, then that is in your online library for you all the time. So you guys are special. That never expires that way. Lori says, I tried clicking on the blue sections to fill in one of the sheets in the emergency binder, but it wouldn't work. How can I do this? Do me a favor, shoot me an email and tell me what section you're trying to work on. And if you email me at hello@suzannakaye.com, then Stephanie or I can make sure to figure out exactly what's going on. We'll probably need to know, what version you have. We might ask you what PDF software you're using or what you see on your screen when you type or when you click on it. There will be some questions that we need to ask you specifically. So shoot me an email, hello@suzannakaye.com, and we will absolutely get you up and running. Lizette says, what's the difference between the Spark Life Binder and Paper Path? I just explained that a minute ago. With the Spark Life Binder is the important papers, and the Paper Path is all of the rest of the papers. So your file systems, your incoming papers. It includes the Spark Life Binder, not the binder itself. It just includes how to set up a binder. So these two work hand in hand. Paper Path and Spark Life Binder combined work really well together. The Paper Path is something, it's not open right now. It'll open up later this year. So watch for that if you wanted help with the file cabinet and all of your file systems and incoming mail and all that good stuff and sorting papers, that good stuff. Teresa says, I own the binder. It's great, but I need to finish and print. The procrastination gene is strong in me. You are not alone. Oh, I can procrastinate with the best of them. Not a problem at all. Hopefully this gets you some motivation to get that finalized and running. But the fact that you got it and you're making some progress on it is huge. That's fantastic. So you should absolutely celebrate it. Lynn says, thank you. This whole webinar has been great. No, I don't own the Spark Life Binder or Paper Path. That's fine. I'm glad that you joined me, and hopefully you're setting up your emergency medical folder and maybe joining me for the important papers workshop so you can set up your own important papers binder. But one way or the other, you're doing awesome. I'm so glad you're here. Lori says, I own both, but don't always join the hike sessions and need to do so. So I will make progress on filling out the forms. Not a problem, Lori. You're doing really good. I see you there when you can be there, and that's fantastic. Jane says, I have the Spark Life Binder, bought it a couple years ago. I registered for the important papers workshop. I watched it, but didn't finish. That is okay. Not a problem. Keep taking those steps. And I'm so glad that you got your Spark Life Binder a couple years ago. You're already doing massively, massively good things. You're so welcome, Lizette. Joanne says, where in my library do I find the replay of the workshop from last night? It's in your library. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head. I don't remember exactly where it's at. It's probably in the extra resources or FAQ section. But if you don't see it there, then shoot me an email and I can then send you exactly where it's at. But sorry, off the top of my head, I don't remember. Awesome. Peg says that she signed up for the Spark Life Binder and she needs to work on it. Well, great. I am so glad that you grabbed your Spark Life Binder. You're going to do absolutely amazing with it. I know that you will. Well, you already know my email address if you have any troubles or questions about your Spark Life Binder or about the challenge or need anything at all. So hello@suzannakaye.com. Remember also that anything that you need for the challenge is on that challenge schedule page. You are doing absolutely amazing. Oh, Bonnie found the replay in the resources section of the online library. Yay, so glad. Perfect. All right. Remember, I will see you tomorrow for the Important Papers Workshop. I will see you Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for the last live of the challenge. And Sunday, we are wrapping it all up. We're talking about the final tips to make it absolutely awesome and amazing. We're talking about what the next steps are, what to do from there, and all of the good stuff coming up. So I hope that you can join me both tomorrow and on Sunday for the rest of the challenge. And if you're trying to get caught up, make sure visit that challenge schedule page. So that way, anything you miss, you can watch before the challenge ends. All right, beautiful. I love you so, so much. Let's just see. Oh, Bonnie says, I have the digital Spark Life Binder. Seriously thinking I will order the hard copy. A lot of people really love to have both. We've had a bunch of people. I was surprised how many, but I would have order the print copy to go along with their digital. So whatever you choose, whatever's right for you, I think that's fantastic. Let's see. Lori says, if I don't email it to you, it's because I tried again and had better luck filling in the sheets online. Not a problem. Not a problem. And Lynn says, thanks. See you Saturday. Absolutely. Well, I love you so much. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, beautiful.